Happy days and welcome to this week's Extreme Business Set Mind series with Mr. Lee Turney, where all the way from Ireland, but not originally from there, but he is there and been there more years than we've been anywhere else. Lee, thank you ever so much for another beautiful Extreme Business Set Mind series. And I'm thanking you before we start because I know everyone we do is priceless. Absolutely priceless. And we have a lot going on in the background, listeners. You want to keep an eyeball of what's going on here over the next couple of months. Lee is extremely busy, as he usually is. Wouldn't have it any other way. And I've got probably 0.5% of his busyness to grab onto and build things with him. But use this week's deep dive is, do you price in? Let me say that again. Do you price in your services correctly? Do people price? No. How do people know they're actually pricing correctly? And what I mean by this is, how do you invoice your think time into your invoice?
Very good.
We touched on this. How do you invoice your think time into your invoice? So many people pricing correctly in the service knowledge industry. What are your thoughts?
A good one, Paul, and it depends if we're into the business model, as in we've got employees and sales and marketing and different things like that, or we're in the solo entrepreneur, because I think there's two answers for where the people are, yeah? And you can hear it, if you're not B, yeah, then you're doing something wrong at A, but it's not. It's your model or your formula and your system that you're running, and that's where you are at this moment. So when I say there's two answers, it's trying to give the answer that serves both. So metrics first, yeah, because I think this, but when I say I think it, I know it for me to be true. In the marketplace, it doesn't seem to be true because so many people aren't doing it. So you think, well, if it's the way to do it, why aren't they doing it? Is too many people are in the time for money.
Wow, time for
yeah, trading time for money, because most people, and bear in mind, it's not a derogatory statement, it can be heard that way, but most people have the JOB mindset.
Yeah.
The JOB mindset is not a business mindset, not an entrepreneur mindset. Now, have you got entrepreneur tendencies? Because if what we're inclined to do sometimes when somebody says something, and go, no, that's not me. That's not me. Oh, that's John. That's Mary. And that can be a form of avoidance or deflection or denial. When I'm saying it, I'm not saying it to attack anybody. I'm saying it for them to have the awareness, because if they have the awareness, oh, I am doing that, then they can do something about it. If they're in defense, denial, or deflection, then, oh, it's not me, it's Paul, then they're not going to do nothing about it. And then one day, yeah, they're going to pay severe consequences for not doing something about it, or that the severe consequences, the pain's going to be more like affecting them, and the pain's going to make them do something about it. And most people run their business by how it feels to them in the negative. They only make change when they realise that if they don't change, they haven't got a business. So the pain on the outside becomes bigger than the pain on the inside. And that's normally when you get awareness or change. And it's the same in companies, because in any company, you're dealing with what's happening on the inside. They put processes and procedures in place. Anyone that doesn't follow those, they start to basically have an audit and go, well, we've had an assessment of you, John, and I'm very sorry, John, we don't think you're in line with the company's future, or we've asked you to do this, yeah, and you haven't done it, because they're looking for, I suppose, what some might say, character or energy in line with the growth they're taking. So we come back to the solo entrepreneur, the person who has a business, but they are the business, yeah? As in they're the product, they're the service. Self-value, their internal currency, yeah? How are they valuing themselves? Now, they might have good self-autonomy and good self-value And that's what's initially drove them. That's what made them come out of the JOB world, the corporate world, and I can do better on my own. I can serve better on my own. Some of the things I'm doing or being asked to do aren't congruent with my values and principles, and I don't think they're congruent with serving the customer. And so, that's the difference when you're in a corporate structure or business structure. They have to put policies and procedures in place that serve the business. And sometimes that doesn't always serve the end user of the business, because we're trying to. So an engine runs in a car, yeah. It has to, so the fuel goes in. There's an explosion, yeah, and that's where we get combustion engine. The pistons go up. That churns a load of cogs. That churns the prop shaft or the drive shaft, and that gets us moving. But then we have to put the gears into it. So what gear are we in? Are we flat out on the engine but in first gear? And that's where a lot of solo entrepreneurs are. Flat out, pedal to the floor, and they think because they're pushing hard, sheer willpower, sheer determination, sheer drive, that sooner or later something's got to break and they're going to get their break and have success.
Do you think, when we think about the costing, I get where you are. It's just amazing. So many people, especially in the SME world, price, let's say, an hourly rate that they would want to charge for servicing, delivering a product, but don't cost into that the design of the product, which is their think time, the build, the physical build of it on paper, which is their do time, and then, of course, the many years of developing as a human being to actually get to that place where you have that quality of thing. I'm 55 years of age and I charge for my 55 years of life. I do that because, that customer...
But that's awareness, because you have the awareness of you're a walking library. You're a walking university in the business world. You know that now. There was a time you didn't.
True, absolutely.
So what you can do in 5 minutes, most people wouldn't be able to do in 5 years, because they haven't got, it's not the knowledge. See, a lot of people confuse it with knowledge. What I know, no, it's the experience, the experience I've tasted, the smell that I've been involved in, how I've overcome those gut-wrenching moments, how I was able to stay motivated, even though my feelings were literally consuming me. Yeah. And I was able to still put the right thing in place. And even worse, if you've got a team around you and their feelings now are pushing back at you, and I'm not doing this, I'm not, you want me to do that, and you've got all the drama, because they don't want change. People don't want change because to change, it takes away security. Security is in the future. They want to know what their tomorrow's going to bring. They want to know what their next week's going to bring, the next month's going to bring, and they have security. But all the time we keep changing, and this is where entrepreneurs can go wrong, is they have this vision, but they haven't got the script or the storyboard to go with the vision. They've just got the vision. So the script and the storyboard is the strategy, and the characters within it. So they don't know how to take the idea to market. So what they do is they take the idea to market. They might get their messaging right. And there's a few things that goes on. I'm on about the transition stage where we learn to be, let's say, find our place in our business, and we start to get no's. And so we get no, that wouldn't be for me. That's a bit too expensive for me, whatever. And we get that experience, that learning, and then we go, right, the price is wrong. The price is wrong. So then when people like us get somebody that's been in business for a number of years, we go, what? And your pricing, why are you charging that? Oh, I know my pricing's right. How do you know your pricing's right? Because people say yes. Oh, right. And was your pricing wrong? Was your pricing wrong at some point? Oh, yeah. How did you know that? Because people said no. Okay. Well, I find the price when they say no. But there's a few pieces that go in. It's not just yes or no. Yeah. Have I got my avatar right? The people I serve right? Yeah. Have I got the outcome they want right? Have I got the gap, the experiences and the feelings they're feeling, the negative ones, where they have the emotional and physical autonomy to know, well, I'm under stress, I'm not happy about this. Yeah, they have the spiritual autonomy where I'm not excited about this. that nudges the cognitive mind where it goes, I'm doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which means now they've got an awareness to something wrong, and it's something they're doing. But what most solo entrepreneurs do is they go, it's not something I'm doing, it's me. It's me. And that's personal.
Yeah.
As soon as it's me, I now have to work on myself. So I translate that. I need another certificate. I need another business master's. I need this. Why? Because if I've done the business master, done this, done that, done the other, I've got all these certificates go on my wall, it can't be me. So it must be them. And we're caught in this me or them, where it's nothing to do with you personally. It's this. What is it the customer wants?
Mm-hmm.
What experience have you got that you can bring to the table that serves the customer? What's the impact you make in their lives and their business? So because the impact you make, so a good example of this, and I won't mention any names, is a guy I know very, very well, very good at, and we're going back probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, very good at putting automated systems together, utilizing tools online.
Okay.
The company, he knew they had more inquiries coming in than they could process. So what they would have, so it's 10 inquiries a day coming in. Yeah, this is for a construction type firm. And they could only process 3. They could only put 3 quotes out a day, and they had like 10 people that wanted quotes.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was lucky dip. Well, who do we choose to do the 10 quotes for? I'll do it for Paul, Lee, and Joanne. Okay. Why? Well, they were first in. All right. Okay. Forget that bit. What he was able to do was put a process in place and automate it.
Mm-hmm.
So every single person got their quote. So they just went on the site, filled in it, very simple information, size, height, whatever. But all the information they knew, press the form, and it would give a price.
Yeah.
So you think this is brilliant. Yeah. And it was for the company. It took the company from doing just under $1 million a year to doing over $3 million a year, and exponentially growing. And literally, because the system kept on giving and giving and giving. And the more they grew, the more they got known, the more inquiries they got, the more they grew, the more they got known. And he charged for that system €89. That €89 he charged for his time took a company that was doing under $1 million to doing 3.2 million.
Wow.
So he just for 89 quid, that company over the course of 6 months, they were doing a lot of the right things, but they didn't have the experience, didn't have the knowledge or the know-how, or to how to take the problem and give it a solution. And he charged €89 because he charged for his time. And he went, it was nothing for me. Yeah, but it was everything to them. Where if he didn't know how to charge and he was just going for a charge for his time, then he should have charged 10% for the increase the business was going to have and track it. If he had gone with 10% on the increase, that would have been almost £250,000 worth of work to him for about an hour.
Wow, let me think about that, because that is just profound.
Yeah, but it's a true story. It's a true story.
Amazing. You know, also, do you know what? This has put so many different cogs going for me. It's like, man, if as a business coach, as a legacy business builder, I'm gonna put this out, you know, on that stretch, as a service provider in the knowledge industry, because that's what we provide in Lee, me and you, and people like us are just providing knowledge. You know, maybe there shouldn't be an invoice. Maybe it should just be, if you work with me, I don't charge you for my services. I take 10% of everything you increase in for the next 20 years.
I would do it both ways. I would.
Now that's, charging for your knowledge then.
Well, yeah, because my time, otherwise I'm always in the future, never getting paid. I've got clients that pay me a good chunk, yeah, but also take shares in the company. Once I've nowadays where I am, I don't have to validate myself. So, for example, one client I got, yeah, like where the industry they're in. I asked them the outcome they wanted, and they told me that wasn't the outcome they paid me for, but the outcome they personally wanted. Where is it you want your company to go? Asked about their business model, their communication framework, their delegation framework, why it was that way. Asked about the sales and marketing, their outreach, the growth of the company over the next, say, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and what was the strategy behind it and why that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
If they did grow, were they able to deal with the new business coming in to the same standards? Because some people can be the victim of their own success. Once I done basically a company audit, and then said, well, look, if we're going there, this communication and delegation has to change. The way you're delegating is capping the business at this level. So then we have to get the communication frameworks and the autonomy of the humans involved in the company to adapt to change. Otherwise, you're going to get the reaction to change. Yeah. And if you get the reaction to change, you're pushing forward and they're pulling back. Which means you've got this bungee strap. And if you've got 50, 60 or 100 people in a company that's pulling back, or even worse, you've got those leaders that aren't really leaders, as in they're not the managers, they're not the people that's implementing like where the company's going. They're the ones behind the scenes. I don't know why he wants us to do that. Here we go again. You've got those little chatterboxes, the negative ones, and they're pulling down the morale of the team, and they're negatively disrupting the manager or the boss, and if anyone's listening that does that, stop doing it, because you're the one that's actually the toxic piece, the rotten apple in the business. You're the one that's actually putting people's jobs at risk, putting people's companies at risk, putting people's families at risk, because it's nothing personal. There are people that know a lot more than you. How you know that is if you work for them and they built a company, they obviously know a lot more than you, because if they didn't, they'd be working for you. So personally, you know what you know, and it can be heard in the negative or positive. You know what you know, gives you your options in life. People that create jobs for people and create security of people, whether they're good people or bad people is irrelevant, whether they're good managers, whether they're good at communication and delegation, that's a skill set. But if they've got the ability and the autonomy to go into the market and risk everything and get over all those feelings and create jobs, they've got a very unique skill. And governments can't do it. Governments never make jobs. It's individuals like that make jobs. Governments normally actually cap jobs.
Yeah.
So the last bit on that, to get it to the value, is you should keep putting your prices up. Once you've got the model, you should keep testing it, and you should be getting no's. As long as you've got the market right, you know who your client is you serve, you know the problem they have, you know the gaps between where they are and where they want to go, or what your product will do, what your service will do, what your team will do. And bear in mind, a company has to cover all the insurance, all the growth of the company, VAT, tax, everything, account, bills, everything like that, administration, the boss's salary. And they go, well, the boss gets much more, because they have much more pressure. I'll tell you, the salaries indicate the pressure you can take. Now, some people get paid really for nothing, but they don't get paid for nothing. They get paid for that library of wisdom and knowledge. Or even worse, that one of the companies I'm working with wanted to go into big pharmaceutical companies. When I said big, they wouldn't even give me the top names because the top names were out of their reach. So I said, well, AstraZeneca. And they went, well, we're not ready for AstraZeneca. I said, if you were ready for AstraZeneca, would that be the top client one? Yeah. And I brought them AstraZeneca.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it me directly. I'd done it through my network, my people. I knew what to ask and I knew how to prep them for it. And so the point is, when you bring a client like that, that ain't no 50 quid an hour and that ain't no 200 quid an hour. You're bringing the giants. If you can open doors up to giants, that ain't no couple of £100.
Wow.
And if people want you to open doors, and even worse, if you're in a network and they think, well, because you're in a network paying £1,000 a year, £2,000 a year, that you're going to open doors up for clients like that, you can't do that. That's where your wealth is. And some people are like, they got a library of these right people. It's just a nod, a head, and a handshake. Why? Because they've done all the right things for years. They've served for years, and they've got the respect. And some people can literally open the door as easy as you can open the door in the real world,
Mhm.
walking from one room to the other. They can open the door for success. If your pricing is wrong when they open that door and it's too low, the door will shut.
There it is, Mr. Anywhere.
Yeah.
There it
So
is. This was beautiful. And, you know, one of the golden nuggets from here is how, you know, increasing your prices. Give that some thought. I increase my prices every 10 clients because every 11th client, I am more experienced than 10 clients before because I'm selling my mind, my heart, my knowledge. As most people are in the knowledge industry, give that thought. Lee, thank you so much for another beautiful Extreme Business Set Mind series. And like, subscribe to all the goodness that myself and Lee, or I should say Lee, gives to this episode. And we'll catch you this time next week. And bye for now and boom.